Taylor Swift is worth $1.6 billion, but here's what separates her from every other celebrity. She can't be canceled, can't be replaced, and can't lose her fortune overnight. While other stars depend on brand deals and relevance, Taylor owns an asset that prints money whether she's trending or not. Her empire is built on a strategy so brilliant, it's completely changed how artists think about wealth. The billion-dollar difference. Let's start with a number that should terrify every other celebrity. Taylor Swift became a billionaire purely from music. Not makeup lines, not perfume deals, not reality TV or Instagram sponsorships. Just songs, albums, and tours. Forbes confirmed in 2024 that Taylor crossed the billion-dollar threshold, and by 2025, her net worth sits at approximately $1.6 billion. But here's what makes this absolutely unprecedented. She's the first musician to reach billionaire status primarily through music sales and touring alone. Compare that to Rihanna's $1.4 billion, which comes mostly from Fenty Beauty, or Jay-Z's $2.5 billion, built largely on Armand de Brignac champagne and his sale of Tidal. Dr. Dre? Beats by Dre headphones. Even Paul McCartney's wealth includes decades of business ventures beyond the Beatles' catalog. Taylor's wealth breaks down roughly like this. $600 million from touring, with the Eras Tour alone generating over $2 billion in revenue. $600 million from her music catalog and royalties, and $200 million from streaming deals, merchandise, and real estate. The woman makes money by doing exactly what made her famous, writing and performing music. This isn't just impressive, it's a completely different model of celebrity wealth. And it's untouchable because it's based on ownership, not access. The catalog ownership revolution. To understand why Taylor's empire is bulletproof, we need to talk about what happened in 2019. Her former label, Big Machine Records, sold her first 6 albums, her entire catalog from 2006 to 2017, to Scooter Braun for $300 million. Taylor didn't just lose those masters. She was reportedly never given a fair chance to buy them herself. Most artists would have accepted defeat. The music industry has spent decades convincing artists that labels own their work, and that's just how it works. Taylor did something nobody expected. She declared war. She announced she would re-record all 6 albums, creating new Taylor's version recordings that she would own completely. Critics laughed. Industry executives said fans wouldn't care about re-recordings. They said the originals would always be more valuable. They were catastrophically wrong. Fearless, Taylor's version, and Red, Taylor's version, didn't just match the originals, they outsold them. 1989, Taylor's version, debuted at #1. Fans actively boycotted the old versions, streaming Taylor's versions exclusively. She convinced an entire generation that ownership matters more than nostalgia. The financial impact. Those original masters Scooter Braun bought for $300 million, he sold them for reportedly $100 million less than he paid, taking a massive loss. Meanwhile, Taylor's versions are now worth an estimated $400 million and she owns 100% of them. Plus, she still owns everything she's created since 2019 outright. She didn't just win, she changed the entire conversation around artist rights and catalog ownership. And she did it by betting on her fans' loyalty, which brings us to the real secret of her empire. The Eras Tour, printing money at scale. The Eras Tour isn't just a concert series. It's an economic phenomenon that economists have literally studied for its impact on local economies. The numbers are staggering. Over $2 billion in revenue, making it the highest grossing tour in history. But that's just ticket sales. When you factor in merchandise, travel, hotels, and local economic impact, some estimates put the total economic activity generated at over $5 billion. Cities experienced measurable inflation spikes when Taylor came to town. Hotels raised prices. Restaurants saw record crowds. The tour generated so much economic activity that economists created a term, Swiftonomics. Here's what makes this untouchable. Taylor owns the tour. She's not playing venues and splitting profits with a dozen middlemen. She negotiated deals where she takes home an unprecedented percentage of revenue. Estimates suggest she personally earned $400 to $600 million from the Eras Tour alone in less than 2 years. But the genius isn't just in the scale, it's in the strategy. The tour featured songs from every era of her career, creating a 3.5-hour nostalgia journey that justified 500 to 1,000 plus ticket prices. Fans didn't just attend, they dressed up, made friendship bracelets, and turned each show into a cultural event worth documenting and sharing. If you're starting to understand why Taylor's wealth is different from every other celebrity, hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down strategies the music industry doesn't want artists to learn. The streaming domination. Let's talk about streaming, because this is where Taylor's business acumen really shines. In 2014, she pulled her entire catalog from Spotify, arguing that music streaming devalued artists' work. The industry freaked out. Spotify's CEO publicly criticized her. Taylor didn't care. She understood leverage. She only returned to Spotify in 2017 on her terms, after proving she could drive massive sales without streaming platforms. And when she returned, she did so with better deals and more control than almost any artist in history. Today, Taylor is consistently one of the most streamed artists globally. In 2023, she became the most streamed artist on Spotify with 26.1 billion streams. Every stream pays her more than it pays most artists because she negotiated better and owns more of her work. Here's the math. On streaming, artists typically earn 3 cents to 5 cents per stream. But when you own your masters, you get both the artist share and the label share, roughly doubling your per stream income. Taylor's ownership means that 26 billion streams generates approximately $78 to $130 million annually just from Spotify. And that's not counting Apple Music, YouTube, or other platforms. This is passive income. She doesn't have to post daily content, maintain brand deals, or stay relevant on TikTok. Her catalog streams 24/7, generating millions while she sleeps. The long-term wealth strategy. Taylor's wealth strategy isn't about quick income. It's about owning assets that last forever. Every album adds to a catalog that pays royalties for 70+ years after her death, meaning her descendants will still earn from her songs in 2100. She also invests in stable real estate markets, not flashy hype. No risky side brands or reality TV. She stays focused on music, where her advantage is unmatched and returns are massive. The future is already secured. Here's the scariest part for Taylor's competition. She's only 35 years old. She's already a billionaire with decades of peak earning years ahead of her. She'll release more albums that debut at #1. She'll do more record-breaking tours. Her catalog will keep growing, and every addition increases the value of everything she's already created because it keeps fans engaged with her entire body of work. The re-recordings still aren't finished. She has at least 2 more albums to reclaim. Each release will generate hundreds of millions in revenue and streaming. Each one will further devalue the originals she doesn't own while increasing the value of her owned catalog. And unlike athletes who have short careers, or actors who age out of roles, or influencers who get replaced by younger versions, musicians with owned catalogs have indefinite earning potential. Paul McCartney is 82 and still worth $1.2 billion largely from Beatles royalties. Taylor has 47 years to catch up to that timeline. By the time Taylor Swift retires, if she ever retires, she could easily be worth $3 to $5 billion. And that wealth won't be tied to a company valuation that could crash or a brand deal that could expire. It'll be locked in owned intellectual property that generates cash flow forever. Taylor Swift built a billion-dollar empire that can't be canceled, copied, or destroyed because she owns it all. If this revealed why ownership beats endorsements every time, subscribe now and tell me in the comments which artist's wealth strategy I should break down next.